Hi, hello everyone. Welcome to my channel. This is Vijay Girturi, and in this video, I'll explain you how to install and set up Argo CD on your Google Kubernetes cluster, and we are going to deploy a sample application on Google Kubernetes cluster using Argo CD. So here, Argo CD is a declarative continuous delivery tool for Kubernetes applications, and it automates deployments, rollbacks, and integrate with GitOps. And Argo CD simplifies application management and reduce errors. So the prerequisites of this video before we begin: ensure you have a Google Cloud account or AWS or Azure account, and you need to have a Kubernetes cluster installed in it. And you need to install kubectl, and you need to have a GitHub repository with Kubernetes manifest files or else Helm charts. So currently I'm using my Google Cloud account. So I'm going to create a Google Kubernetes cluster on this Google Cloud account. So before starting this video, I want to show you one thing, guys. So this is the blog link for today's video. So here you can see already I created a blog on Medium on how to install and set up Argo CD on your Google Kubernetes cluster, and we are going to deploy a sample application. So not only on Google Kubernetes cluster, you can install on AWS, Elastic Kubernetes Service, or Azure, AKS, Azure Kubernetes Service. You can install wherever you want. So this is the entire block. First, it will start from intro to GitOps and the key benefits of GitOps and what is Argo CD. You can study each and everything, and this is the key features of Argo CD. And these are the advantages of Argo CD. Try to visit this blog, guys. And in this video, and in this blog, I have written end-to-end steps to install and set up Argo CD, and at last we are going to deploy a sample application. Okay, so at last you can see, so here you can see at last we are going to deploy a sample application using Argo CD on a Google Kubernetes cluster. Again, I'm telling you, not only Google Kubernetes cluster, here you can use Azure Kubernetes cluster or Elastic Kubernetes cluster, which is provided by AWS. So in this block I have explained you in two different ways. So by using Helm you can install this Argo CD, or else using uh, kubectl. Method 2 is kubectl. Using kubectl, you can install this Argo CD on your Kubernetes cluster. Okay, so this is the official documentation link of Argo CD. You can directly copy this and you can directly paste it here to enter into this official documentations. So here you can see these are the two commands to install Argo CD on your Kubernetes cluster. So I will explain you later about these commands. So if you want to enter into that documentation manually, you can directly select Argo CD installation. So directly open this first link. So here you can see these are the two commands. Okay. So let's close this and let's jump onto Google account and let's create a Kubernetes cluster here. Directly select here Kubernetes engine, and here I'm going to select create cluster. So in Google Cloud, when we create any of the Kubernetes cluster, here it will display two different options. One is autopilot cluster and one is standard cluster. So if you select your autopilot cluster, just you need to give the name of the cluster and you need to select region and directly select and create. By default, Google Cloud will create a Kubernetes cluster for you. But in this video, I'm going to create a standard cluster. And here I'm going to select switch to standard cluster, and here I'm going to select switch to standard cluster. So first we need to give the name of the cluster. So here my GKE cluster. So this is the name I'm giving. So location type I'm going with US Central one, and let's leave this by default, and here default pool, and here you can see size, number of nodes per zone. So currently we have three different zones. For each zone we need only one node. So directly I'm going to select one. So that means in three zones, three nodes will be created. Okay. So after that nodes, let's leave this default and let's go with E2. It comes with 2 CPUs and 4 GB of memory. And when it comes to boot disk, here let's go with 30 GB. For today's video, let's go with 30 GB. 30 GB is more than enough, guys. Okay. So after that, let's go to networking and let's leave this by default, and security. Let's leave this default, and metadata also. Let's give this. Let's leave this default. And when it comes to cluster and automation, let's leave this default. And in networking, here in network, let's select my VPC. So previously I created a custom VPC. So I'm going to select that custom VPC. So if you don't know about this VPC networks and everything, already I created a videos on my YouTube channel about VPCs, compute engines, and storage accounts, and this Kubernetes clusters and everything. Try to watch that videos, guys. Okay. So let's come to security and let's leave this default guys everything, and let's directly select here create. So now it takes nearly 5 to 10 minutes to create this Kubernetes cluster on Google Cloud. Okay, not only on Google Cloud account, in AWS Elastic Kubernetes, when we create EKS cluster, it takes nearly 10 minutes to provision the EKS cluster, or else Azure Kubernetes cluster also it takes 5 to 10 minutes to provision that. So same like in Google Cloud also, when we are going to create a Kubernetes cluster, it will take nearly 5 to 10 minutes to create this Kubernetes cluster for us. Okay, so let's wait for that time. So here you can see our Google Kubernetes cluster has successfully created. So now let's connect to this Kubernetes cluster. So to connect to this Kubernetes cluster, you need to directly select here connect and copy this command and select OK. And you need to open this Cloud Shell and let's drag up to here. And let's paste it here and enter. So now this command will connect to our Kubernetes cluster. Okay, let's clear the screen. So now let's display all the nodes. kubectl get nodes hyphen sorry kubectl get nodes hyphen -o wide. So here you can see three different nodes. Internal IP is 10.0.0.3, 10.0.0.4, 10.0.0.227. So if you want to see these nodes, directly jump onto compute engine. So this is the compute engine. I will open this in a new tab. So I will come here. So here you can see nodes are nothing but these are the compute instances guys. Okay, these are the three different instances. So here you can see 10.0.0.3, 10.0.0.4, 10.0.0.227. These are the three instances. Okay, these are in Kubernetes we call it as nodes. Okay, so let's come here. So now let's hit kubectl get pods. kubectl get pods. So currently it will not display any of the pods. So here you can see in default namespace right now we don't have any of the pods. And let's see kubectl get all. So it will display pods, deployments, services and everything. So here you can see currently it was displaying only the default service, default Kubernetes service. Okay. So now let's display kubectl get ns namespace guys. Okay. Ns stands for namespace. So currently we don't have Argo CD namespace. So now let's install Argo CD in this Kubernetes cluster. So first let's enter into this block. So already I shown you this official documentation guys. So this is the official documentation. So after this here I have written two different methods. One is using Helm. Using Helm charts we can install this Argo CD, and using kubectl where we can install Argo CD. So in this video I'm going to install using kubectl. So using this command we are going to create a namespace on Kubernetes cluster with this name guys. Okay, with Argo CD namespace. So with Argo CD name. So here you can see currently we don't have with name Argo CD. So same command you can find in official documentation link. So this command will create a namespace called Argo CD. I will copy this and I'll paste it here and enter. So this will create a namespace called Argo CD. Now kubectl get ns. So here you can see Argo CD. A namespace has been created last 7 seconds ago. So now we need to apply this second command. Okay. So here you can see same command. I have copied from official documentation link. So this command is nothing but this command will install Argo CD in Argo CD namespace by applying configuration provided in this install.yaml file guys. Okay. So it will install in Argo CD namespace. Hyphen N stands for namespace, and this is the namespace of this is the namespace name, guys. Argo CD. So now let's copy this entire command and let's paste it here and enter. So now This will create pods, deployments, services, config maps, and stateful sets and secrets and everything related to this Argo CD on Argo CD namespace. Okay. So here you can see everything is going to create. So we need to wait for 10 to 20 seconds to install all this. So let's wait. So here you can see up to here we completed. So let's display all the pods, deployments, services, and everything. Then in Argo CD namespace, guys. Okay. So let's come here. Let's wait. So here you can see everything has been created. So let's clear the screen. Now kubectl get pods hyphen n Argo CD. So now it will display all the pods in Argo CD. Okay. So now kubectl get deployments hyphen n Argo CD. So it will display all the deployments in this Argo CD namespace. Okay. See, these are the all the deployments. So here you can see currently some pods are in still creating state. So let's check again kubectl get pods hyphen n Argo CD. So okay, all the pods are in up and running. Everything is good. Now let's see deployments. Deployments is ready. So now let's see services. Kubectl get services hyphen n Argo CD. So in namespace, Argo CD namespace only we created everything, right? So that's why I'm going to select always hyphen and Argo CD. So these are all the services. Okay. So now we need to access our Argo CD UI. So we need to change this service type to load balancer. So currently it is in cluster IP, right? So we need to change this to access our Argo CD website. That means Argo CD dashboard. We need to change this service type to node port or else load balancer service. Okay. So now here you can see when I select here load balancer, load balancing, currently it will not show any of the load balancers, guys. Okay. Here you can see currently we don't have any of the load balancers. So when I change this service type to load balancer, so when I change this service type to load balancer, automatically a load balancer will be created. Not only in Google Cloud, either it is AWS or else Azure, it will create a load balancer. Using load balancer external IP, we can access our Argo CD dashboard. So now let's clear the screen. So now let's change this service type. Okay, let's copy this now. kubectl edit service and name of the service we need to give here, paste it here, Argo CD hyphen server hyphen and Argo CD. So now let's come down and type, currently it is in cluster IP. So now we need to change this to load balancer. So here L and B should be capital, guys. Okay. Now let's save this. And here you can see it was displaying edited. So now let's clear the screen. kubectl get services hyphen n Argo CD. So here you can see currently it is changed to service type load balancer and currently external IP it is in pending. So that means it is going to create a load balancer. So currently here you can see it was not showing any of the load balancers. So when I try to refresh this, it will create a load balancer. So here you can see load balancer has been created. A network load balancer will be created. So let's open this. And here you can see 34.136.104.61. Okay. So let's see this IP here. So currently previously it was showing pending, right? So when I hit this command once again, sorry for this, let's cancel this. Let's clear the screen and let's hit this command once again. So here you can see 34.136.104.61. So that means using load balancer, we're going to access this Argo CD dashboard. Okay, so we need to access with port 80. So directly copy this, open a new tab, and we need to access with port 80 and enter. So here you can see it was telling like your connection is not private. Directly select your advanced and you need to select proceed with this IP. So here you can see this is the Argo CD dashboard. So first here you need to give the username and password to connect to this Argo CD. So the default username is admin, guys. So to get this password, you need to get this password from Kubernetes secrets. So now let's come here. Now let's clear this screen. So kubectl get secrets -m argo cd. So from Kubernetes secrets, we need to get this argo cd password. Okay. So here you can see these are the secrets. So here you can see Argo CD initial admin secret. So from this we can get the admin secret, guys. Okay. So now let's copy this entire one and kubectl edit secret and name of the secret we need to give here and -m Argo CD. So here you can see this is the password. Currently it is in encrypted state, so we need to decrypt this. So to decrypt this, you need to copy this and let's come back. And here you need to do echo and you need to paste that encrypted password, and here you need to do base 64 hyphen decode. So using base 64 we are going to decode that password. So here you can see now this is the password of our Argo CD up to B. Okay. So now let's come here, let's paste it here and sign in. So here you can see this is the Argo CD dashboard. So we successfully connected to our Argo CD. So let's jump into this official documentations. So here you can see we displayed all the pods, deployment services and everything. After that, you can do if you are doing in your local machines. So here you can see option one. If you are going to do in your Minikube or some other things in your local machines, you need to do their port forwarding. So if you are doing this in your cloud, guys, that means if you are doing in this on AWS or Azure or maybe in Google Cloud, you need to change that service type to load balancer or to a node port. Okay, from cluster IP to node port or to a load balancer. So currently we are going to change this to load balancer service type. After that we need to access this with IP. So we successfully accessed it with that IP and we successfully connected to this Argo CD and we successfully connected to this Argo CD. That means we successfully log into this Argo CD. So now let's come down. So this is the entire commands to get the password of our Argo CD. So here you can see default username is admin. To get this password, you need to follow this. Okay, have written each and everything. So now let's deploy our first application. Okay. So now let's come here. So to deploy our first application, let's close this. You need to directly select here create application and you need to give the application name. So currently I was having my manifest files. Okay. So here you can see Netflix. In this I have deployment file and service file. So in deployment file I'm going to create with two different replicas and this is the image for our today's video. This image I stored it in my Docker Hub. Okay. So this is the service. So service type I'm going with load balancer. So we are going to access our website using service type load balancer. You can use notepad also, guys. No problem to access your website. So let's go back. Let's select this Argo CD demo. Okay. So now let's enter into this Argo CD dashboard. So here we need to give the application name first. So here application name I'm going to provide like Netflix and project name I'm going to select default and sync policy here I'm going to select automatic. So automatically it will sync. So whenever any changes happened in this GitHub, so that means currently here you can see currently in deployment.yaml file we have only two replicas. So whenever it was changed to 3, 4 or else one replica, then automatically within 3 minutes Argo CD will sync with the GitHub repository and it will automatically reflect to one replica, or else if you change it to 3 it will automatically change it to 3 replicas. Okay, I will show you that, guys. Okay, let's come here and let's come down and here you can see auto create namespace. So currently we don't have namespace with name Netflix. So here you can see kubectl get ns. So here you can see we don't have with name namespace like Netflix. Okay, so let's create a namespace with this Argo CD. So directly select here create auto create namespace. So here we need to give the repository URL. So this is the repository, right, we are using. So directly copy this repository. So here you can see this is the public repository, guys. Okay, so if you are using some private repositories, you need to give the GitHub token in your Argo CD. So in next video I'll explain you how to integrate your private repositories with Argo CD. Okay, so in this video let's go with public repository. Let's come here and let's paste it here, this public repository. Okay, not only GitHub repository, if you want to integrate with Helm, you can directly select here Helm and you need to paste that repository URL. So here let's select Git. So this is the Git repository, right? Okay. So here ahead, let's remove this. So here you can see currently we have two different branches. One is main, one is master. So currently in main only I have this Netflix, right? So here I'm going to select main. So this is the branch name, guys. Okay. So path is this one, path Netflix. So directly come here and directly give the folder name Netflix. So if you are having n number of folders, you need to give the folder name. Okay. In Argo CD, you need to give the folder name. So cluster URL. So we are using this default cluster. That means this Google Kubernetes cluster namespace. Here I'm going to select Netflix. So here you can see here we have selected option auto create namespace. So if you select here namespace Netflix, by default this Argo CD first will create a namespace called Netflix, and in this namespace it will create deployment files and service files, and it will expose our application to outside world using load balancer. Okay, so now everything is fine. Let's directly select here create. So here you can see status, it will display the status. So here you can see currently it is in the syncing state, and this is the repository URL, and this is the target repository main. We are using the branch like main, guys. Okay, path is Netflix. So here you can see this is the path. In this path we have all the manifest files. So this is the path. So let's come here. Destination is in cluster. We are going to deploy namespace in Netflix namespace. We are going to create deployment files and service files and everything. And we created in this time, and we synced in this time. So let's open this. So here you can see it was displaying in a beautiful way. So here you can see application name we have given Netflix. So service it was created. When you open this, it will display all the details. So here you can see kind we are going to create a service, and name is Netflix service, and this is the namespace. In Netflix namespace we are going to create, and the and in this date and in this time we created, and the service type is load balancer. So let's check here. So kubectl get ns. So here Netflix namespace will be created. So here you can see Netflix namespace has been created last 60 seconds ago. So now kubectl get pods hyphen n Netflix. So here you can see two pods has been created. So let's come here and let's check this. Let's close this. So here you can see two pods has been created. So let's see the deployment. Let's come here. Let's clear this screen. kubectl get deployments hyphen and argo cd. So here you can see a deployment has been created. So sorry, not argo cd. Here we need to give the Netflix. Sorry for this. So here you can see a deployment has been created last 104 seconds ago. Let's see the service. kubectl get service hyphen and Netflix. So here you can see a service has been created, and it is exposing our application using type load balancer, and this is the external IP. So now here a load balancer will be created. Directly select here load balancing. So here you can see a network load balancer has been created. So if you want to access this website, directly open this and directly copy this IP. Okay, not only this IP, guys, you can copy from here also. So here you can see 34.170.203.199. You need to access with port 4000. Okay, so this is the load balancer IP will be allocated to this service. Let's open this new tab and paste it here and enter. So here you can see we deployed our sample application using Argo CD on a Kubernetes cluster. So this is how you can deploy your applications using Argo CD. So now I will show you one thing. So currently here you can see we have two different pods, right? So if you want only one pod, you can directly go to that GitHub repository. Let's drag this here and let's remove this. Okay. Okay. So let's open this Netflix one. And let's open this deployment.ml file. So if you want to change this to one, directly edit this and directly change this to 1, and directly you need to select here commit changes and commit changes. Okay, so here you can see currently we have only one pod, right? So now within 3 minutes, so it takes 3 minutes, guys. Okay, so within 3 minutes, automatically Argo CD will sync to GitHub and it will automatically change to one pod. Okay, not only pod, you can change service types and deployments and each and everything. You can change each and everything automatically. Argo CD will sync with GitHub and it will change entire configurations, guys. Okay, so now let's wait for 3 minutes. So before wasting this time, I want to show you one GitHub repository which is provided by Argo CD. Okay, let's open a new tab, and here Argo CD, GitHub Argo CD example, I think so. GitHub Argo CD example app. So let's open this first link. So here you can see Argo CD example apps. So this is the repository which is provided by Argo CD, guys, to practice this deployments. Okay, so here you can see guest book. So if you open this guest book, in this you can see deployment files and service files. Okay, so here you can see these are this is nothing but this is the manifest files of our Kubernetes. So if you want to deploy this using Helm, so here you can see Helm guest book. Directly open this. So inside this you will see Helm chart for this guest book. So Argo CD provided in two different ways, like Kubernetes manifest files or else Helm charts. Okay, so now let's do one thing. Let's deploy our application using Helm chart. So let's keep it here. So this is not okay. So currently it was displaying two pods, right? Once let's refresh this. Let's see. So here you can see it was changed to one pod. Okay. So now here you can see committed updated deployment.yaml file. You can see each and everything, guys. So author is Vijay Gidturi. So now let's come here. Let's clear the screen and kubectl get pods hyphen and Netflix. So here you can see now we have only one pod. One pod has been destroyed. Okay. So this is how Argo CD will continuously sync with our GitHub repositories and it will continuously change our pods, deployments, whatever you done any of the new commits are by default Argo CD will commit with communicate with GitHub and it will deploy the changes in our Kubernetes clusters, guys. Okay. So this is the main advantages. So here you can see it will display in a beautiful way like this. You can change like this, guys. Okay, so now let's do one thing. Let's deploy this Helm chart, Helm guest book, okay, from Argo CD official GitHub repository. So let's go to this Argo CD and let's directly select your application. So currently we deployed one application, right? So if you want to deploy one another application, so this is the simple manifest files. So now we are going to deploy using Helm charts, using official Argo CD Helm chart, guys. Okay, this repository is provided by Argo CD. Okay, Argo CD community. So directly select your new app and here let's give Helm hyphen guest book. And project name let's give default and sync policy let's select here automatic. And here now I'm not going to create any of the namespace, guys. So I'm going to create this pods deployments and everything in default namespace. So that's where I'm not going to select auto create namespace. So if you want to create in any of the custom namespace, you need to select here create auto create namespace and you need to give the namespace name. Okay, so now here you need to give the repository URL. So this is the repository, right? I'm going to copy this and I'm going to paste it here. And branch, let's see, the branch name is master. So let's remove this and master. Okay, and path, our path is Helm guestbook. Okay, so let's select here Helm guestbook and destination is our Kubernetes cluster. So this is the service. Okay, namespace we need to deploy in default namespace. Okay, so now values file, Helm values file. So let's open this guestbook So we have two different values file, guys. Okay, values.production.yaml and simply values.yaml. So if we are going to deploy in your production environment, so there we are going to use service type like load balancer. So let's use this simple values.yaml file. So let's select this values.yaml file and directly select here create. So now we are going to deploy this Helm guestbook. So here you can see sync successful. So here you can see service has been created, and deployment it is in still creating state, and replica set is still it is in creating state, and pod is also still it is in creating state. So meanwhile, let's come here and kubectl get pods. So here you can see Helm guestbook pod has been created. Kubectl get deployments. So if you are going to display in default namespace, you need not to mention a hyphen and default, guys. You can directly hit kubectl get deployment. So here you can see Helm guestbook deployment and kubectl get services. So here you can see Helm guestbook service has been created with cluster IP. Okay. So this is how you can deploy your applications. Okay, guys. So here you can see service has been created, deployment has been created, pod has been created. So if you want to see this full detail information about this, you can directly open this pod, and you can directly see here. You can see kind is pod and name. This is the pod name, and in this default namespace we created, and we created in this date, and image we are going to use this image, and state currently it is in running, and health it is healthy, and this is the manifest file of our pod. Okay, so this is how you can check each and everything in this Argo CD. Same like service. So here you can see kind is service and name is this name Helm guestbook hyphen Helm guestbook. Okay, so namespace we created under default namespace, and we created on this date, and type is cluster IP, and service type we created with cluster IP. Okay, so same like this live manifest file of our service. So same like deployment, each and everything you can find in this, guys. Okay, try to check this, try to do this video. So in next video I'll explain you how to integrate your GitHub private repositories with Argo CD. So here you can see I will open my GitHub repository. So repositories, so Helm basic. So this is the private repository I created. So in next video, I'll explain you how to deploy your applications on the private repositories which you stored on your private repositories. Okay. So hello world. So I in next video I'm going to deploy two different applications using Helm chart. Okay. So I created a Helm chart, and I'm going to deploy two different applications. Okay. Using private repository. So this is the repository which is provided by Argo CD. Try to visit this repository, guys. So using this repository you can practice Argo CD. So in this repository you can file Kubernetes manifest files and Helm charts to deploy onto Argo CD. Okay, so and yes, so now I will explain you how to delete this everything. So if you want to delete this, you can directly open this, and you can directly select here delete, and you can directly copy this up to here, and you can directly copy it here, and you can directly select here OK. So here you can see it is going to delete. It was deleted. So if you want to delete this Netflix one, directly select here delete, and directly select here Netflix and OK. So now this will be deleted. So now let's come here. So it is still it is in the deleting state, guys. So let's wait. It is still it is in the deleting state. So let's come here. So okay, let's check this manually. Let's come here. kubectl get pods hyphen and Netflix. So we don't have any of the pods. So let's see kubectl get all hyphen and Netflix. So here you can see we don't have even pods, deployment services and anything. So let's come here to Argo CD and let's check. So here you can see everything has been deleted. So that's why here it was not showing anything. So now kubectl get all. It will display Helm guestbook pods deployment services, right? So here you can see it was not displaying anything. It was displaying only the default Kubernetes service. Everything has been deleted. So this is how you can manage everything using Argo CD, guys. So, and yes, that's it for today's video. And I will give you this Medium blog link on this video description. Okay. So, and yes, that's it for today's video. And if you like my video, please do like, share, and subscribe to my YouTube channel, guys. And see you in the next video. And bye.